Hello everyone, welcome to VR tutorials. In this video we are going to learn how to say something is expensive and something is cheap. If you find this video is useful, please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. See, every day we buy things and we tell about the things, how much does it cost. So every day we buy things అంటే ప్రతిసారి మనం ఏవో ఒకటి కొంటూ ఉంటాం. సో హౌస్ కానీ వెజిటబుల్స్ ఆర్ డ్రెస్ జీన్స్ సో కొంటూనే ఉంటాం. సో అవి సమ్టైమ్స్ ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్ సమ్టైమ్స్ చీప్ యూ బై. సో అవి మనం ఎలా చెప్పొచ్చు అంటే ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ యూ సే ఇట్ ఈస్ చీప్ ఆర్ చీపర్ it's boring. So the same way if you every time say it's expensive for everything, it's boring same. So we have a lot of phrases here. So to talk something is expensive or something is very cheap, let's go to the topic with the examples or with the phrases. So first let's know how to talk the ways you say something is cheap. It's inexpensive. So it's inexpensive. So can you recommend me any inexpensive hotel in this city? Can you recommend me any inexpensive hotel in this city? And inexpensive, which means very cheap, so that you can afford. So inexpensive, which means same synonym for cheap. So then you can say that's quite reasonable. That's quite reasonable, which means that's cheap, that you can actually pay. That's quite reasonable. So you can say it's a good price. It's a good price. You can say it was dirt cheap. It was dirt, D-I-R-T, dirt. It was dirt cheap, which means it's very cheap, more than you expected. It's very cheap. It's dirt cheap. You can say bargain. That's a bargain. So it's also very cheap. So you expected something, for example, a shirt cost 1,000 rupees, but they gave it for 200 rupees. So that's a bargain. It's really a bargain. That's a bargain, you can say that. Inga cheppochu, that's a good deal. That's a good deal, which means synonym for it's very cheap. Inga cheppochu, it was a real bargain. It was a real bargain, which means very cheap. Low priced, it's low priced. And chala cheap and it's low priced. They gave at low priced. I bought it at low priced, which means I bought it something very cheap. Next, affordable. Affordable means which we can actually afford. Affordable, okay? Affordable price. So the next one phrase is cost effective. Cost effective. Cost effective means the product is very good but the price is very cheap, which means కాస్ట్ ఎఫెక్టివ్ అంటే ప్రోడక్ట్ చాలా బాగుంది సో ప్రైస్ మాత్రం చాలా చీప్. ఓకే, మనం అంటాం కదా చీప్ అండ్ బెస్ట్ అంటాం కదా. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాక్చువల్లీ కాస్ట్ ఎఫెక్టివ్. సో బడ్జెట్, it's actually not about the noun but here budget it functions as an adjective. Okay, so I want to stay at a budget hotel. Okay, budget hotel అంటే which you can afford, a cheap hotel, budget hotel. Next, steel, S-T-E-A-L, steel అన్న కూడా it's very cheap. For me it's a steel అంటే it's very cheap అని. సో ఇలా మనం something is cheap అని చెప్పొచ్చు. The same way, so how we say something is expensive, it's very expensive. That's common phrase, it's very expensive. It's costly. Next, it costs a fortune. It costs a fortune, which means it's very costly and it's very expensive and it costs a fortune. So this shirt costs a fortune. We can say that's a rip off. R-I-P hyphenated O-F-F off. That's a rip off. Also saying it's very expensive. Next మనకు ఒక idiom కూడా ఉంటుంది. It costs an arm and a leg. అంటే చాలా very costly అని, చాలా costly. It costs an arm and a leg. Buying lands in Hyderabad, okay, Hyderabad costs an arm and a leg. So it's highly expensive. Next you can say pricey. So which means you cannot afford it. So that's a bit pricey. Okay, so this mobile, it's a bit pricey. So you cannot buy it, pricey. And you can say I can't afford it because it's expensive. You can say overpriced, it's overpriced అంటే చాలా ఎక్కువ ప్రైస్ దానికి. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ ఓవర్ ప్రైస్డ్. సో షీ బాట్ ఇట్ ఎట్ ఓవర్ ప్రైస్డ్. సో అంటే అంటే ఇవ్వాల్సిన దానికన్నా ఎక్కువ ప్రైస్ అయింది, అది కాస్ట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది, సో ఓవర్ ప్రైస్డ్. ఇంకా చెప్పొచ్చు వాల్యుబుల్. సో ఇక్కడ వాల్యుబుల్ హ్యాస్ టూ మీనింగ్స్, వీ ఆల్ నో దట్. సో హీ గేవ్ మీ ఎ వాల్యుబుల్ ఐటమ్. ఇట్స్ వాల్యుబుల్ అంటే ఇట్స్ సేమ్ టూ మీనింగ్స్ వస్తాయి, అంటే ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్ అని అండ్ విచ్ యాక్చువల్లీ హ్యాస్ అ వాల్యూ అని. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ వాల్యుబుల్. నెక్స్ట్ ఎగ్జార్బిటెంట్, EXO or BITANT, exorbitant. So which means highly expensive, exorbitant. So we know it to buy it, it's exorbitant. So TANT, exorbitant. Next, extravagant. Extravagant also has the same meaning, it's very costly. So what was the extravagant thing that you bought, which means very costly thing in your life, extravagant. Next, lavish. Lavish buffet అంటే very expensive, lavish. సో ఇలా మనం ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్ ఆర్ చీప్ అనేది ఇన్ని విధాలుగా మనం చెప్పొచ్చు. సో నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు యూస్ దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రేజెస్, ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ యూస్ ద సేమ్ రిపీటింగ్ చీప్ ఆర్ ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్. సో యూ కెన్ యూస్ ఎనీ phrases from this list. Thank you for watching. If you have any queries related to this, please post in our query group.